You know, along my time in PvZ Heroes, I've seen all sorts of tier lists. Tier lists for plants, tier lists for zombies, tier lists for the heroes. But I haven't seen a tier list that just uses all the plants and the zombies into one, just putting them next to each other instead of just separate. And so I'm here to do that. As you can tell, I'm very good at making tier lists. Second best tackle of all time. Reliable. It's basically it's a 3 cost, heal your face or a plant for 4, draw a card. It's good with Pepper MD, it's good if you just need some sustainability. You just don't really place anything on the board with it, that's its only issue. And that's one hell of an issue though, but it's still reliable because if you're running it in a heal deck. Abracadabra. Abracadabra. Reliable. After the recent buff of making him from a 3 cost 3 to a 3 cost 3/3, he's actually a legitimately usable card. Because before it died a bit too easily, you could just use Banana Bomb and it was dead. Now at least you have to use Berry Blast. Plus, it also means it's more likely to hit face because now it has a higher chance of surviving what's fronting it, since a lot of plants only deal 2 damage. Acid Rain. Do I need to say this isn't niche, has little use? It only hits the ground lanes and it's also a superpower. Like, hey, at least it's a superpower so it only costs 1. But it's not gonna save it from being niche. You basically need a board of already weak minions to actually get significant value out of it. Admiral. Reliable. In a beam deck, this guy can really pop off. And by beam decks, I mean 40 Admiral Navy beams run by a green shadow for some fucking reason. But even outside of that, the fact that it can deal 2 to face no matter what means it can be used as a pretty strong finisher. Especially once the zombie hero has no more block. But if you get to that point, I doubt you can actually win. The Aerobics Instructor. It's a 2 cost 2/3, every dancing card gets +2 for each turn this thing is alive. It's just strong as it is. You don't even need to run it in a dancing deck, because this thing just gets value by just existing. It's a massive threat that needs to be killed rather fast, so you know what? For that it goes strong. Alien Ooze. A 3 cost trick that either removes 3/3 worth of stats or 6/6 worth of stats if the plant is on an environment or on this. Yeah, it goes straight up into strong. This thing can absolutely delete a lot of cards out of existence. Like, this thing can actually kill a Dark Matter Dragonfruit, something Fruitcake can no longer do. The All-Star Zombie. What a buff they gave him. So, before All-Star Zombie was meh. Niche with very little use. Now it's kind of just strong. The only change they made is that they made it untrickable, and suddenly it's one of the best cards in the game. It's very hard to deal with it with just raw damage. But you know what? At least it's not broken, like some other cards. Allosaurus. Reliable? Nah, this thing isn't too strong. It's pretty fucking good of a card, though, I won't lie. 4/7, it heals you every turn you draw a card. It's just really hard to stop once you have more than one Allosaurus on the field. It's really, really hard to stop once there's more than one. I won't put it quite in dominant because it's not gonna win you games on its own, but once you have 2 of them on the field, it becomes really hard to lose. Ancient Vampire, actually one of my favorite cards. Sadly, it's just reliable. It's not strong, it's just reliable. Its gimmick is that every Frenzy card will grow 2 by 2 to attack 2 health every time it kills something, which is good, but you need the Ancient Vampire both on the field and to stay alive for that to happen. And at 4 cost, it's gonna be hard to actually get the value. Especially out of something like... even out of something like going viral. Apatosaurus, oh god. It says 5-5, but this is a 6-6-6 with Untrickable, and it gives you a root. It goes into strong, there's no argument against it. This thing will just wreck you if you don't have something to remove it, like a deadly minion or some Zombat. Apple Saucer, and this is the moment where I realized not all the images have their stats updated, and it's mainly for plants. Now it's a 3-1 instead of a 3-2, so no, it's still reliable. It's still a 2-cost, deal 3 damage. And it gets right through once you have more than 6 sun. Area 22. Enough said. Arm Wrestler. This goes into reliable. Every time you place a plant places something in front of the Arm Wrestler, it grows in strength. But that just means they're gonna place something that will kill it no matter what. Or they're just gonna use Berry Blast. Or Banana Bomb, because that also kills him. Astrovera, the pain of my fucking existence against Rose. Go straight into strong. It increases your health by 10. It heals you for 10. If you have Artichoke on the field, that's just 10 damage straight to the zombie here's face. It's just really fucking strong. It's not quite dominant because it won't win you the game, but it just makes you really infuriating to kill. Astrocato Pit. Yeah, I'm having these guys here too. I mean, you cannot select it in a deck, so I think I'm better off doing something else with this. Yeah! You cannot gain an Astro Pit unless you have an Astrocado in your hand, and if that was the case, if I was to rank it as if it was the Astrocado, then it would go on Dominant. No, this goes in unrankable, because you need Astrocado for it, otherwise you cannot get it. Astrocado, on the note of Astro. Astrocado goes straight into Dominant, there's no going around that. 5 cost, 5-3 with Strike Through. If it dies, you can just place this guy and possibly get it back. It's really strong, it's near unstoppably strong. Astro Shroom. You need the entire deck built around this guy, so it will go in niche. If you don't have a deck built around Astrogado, then why even bother running him? Atomic Pomegranate. Before the buffs they gave to Seedling, this would have been here, honestly. Even if though it deals 5 damage, it only has 2 health, and then 1 Seedling dies, and you just pray to oranges, the other is good. After the recent buff, this goes in reliable. It makes 3 Seedlings, all of them have 2 health. And it doesn't matter if one of them dies, because now you have 2 of them. Suddenly it's pretty good. Good job on that, PopCap. Backup Dancer goes into 1 cost with no abilities. Back Air Bounce. Do I need to explain why? Bad Moon Rising. Straight into strong. If you get the good Moon Rising, what an irony. Yeah, if you get a good bad moon, then your opponent has no hopes of coming back from that game. Unless they have a fucking Doomshroom, they are very unlikely to clean a field of whatever the fuck this thing might have gave you. That's just gonna wipe them off the planet. It doesn't quite go into dominant because it's RNG parry. But you know what, that also just makes it a fun card. Bamboozle. It recently got back from a 5-6 to a 6-6. It's still not good. In fact, no, I'll argue it's worse than that. You have to sacrifice a card. You have to spend 6 sun to sacrifice a card that probably costs it as much, if not more. And it only does that it draws you 2 cards or so. It's not worth it. Just don't use it. Banana Bomb. It goes into reliable. It's cheap. 1 cost, deal 2 damage to a zombie. A lot of zombies that cost 1 die to it. Even some that cost 2 die to it. Hell, old Abracadabra died to it. Banana Launcher. Damn it. Banana Launcher. Also goes next to the Banana Bombs. Since it produces you Banana Bombs. Unlike the Astrocado Pit, you can actually run bombs without Banana Launcher. That's why we rank both. Banana Peel, it's now a 2 cost and now conjures fruits. Sadly, because it's a 2 cost, it's now kinda niche. But the ability for it to just give you a fucking Dark Matter Dragon Fruit while you are fucking Grass Knuckles is probably the most busted shit in the game. Banana Split. Is that a name? Yeah, split. Sorry, even after they buff they gave to health bananas, you're just a bit too expensive. And you also have the same issue as Alt Atomic Bomb Granite. Bananasaurus Rex. 4 cost, 3/3 with double strike, and it grows every turn or every time you draw a card. It grows. No ifs, no buts. If you draw a card, this thing grows. Unless you have something like to immediately remove it, like a Rocket of Science, an Alien Ooze, or a Sharkotronic Dead on a Shine. You just are not killing it. Or a Deadly Minion, that doesn't matter. Battle of Battles, this actually does help you counter this thing. It goes into strong, it gives you a battle in return, and recently they made Moonbase Z a battle, so now you get that out of it. But also, this thing makes any zombie deadly. So you know, you kinda just straight up counter this fucker if you have a Battle of Battles and a minion. Battle of Deadbeards. Like, if you combine these two together, it's a foil killer, and this thing just clears any one health minions. Plus, it gives you a pretty strong card in return. Not to mention the good old last final mission synergy. Why did they take away the ability to hit face? Battle Roller. I like this guy, but he is not worth it most of the time. If he is deadly, if he dies, he gives you 2 swabbies. Assuming you have both lanes empty. But he's not really that good outside of maybe answering this fucker over here. Baseball hat zombie. Beam me up. Good old reliable beam me up. It's a trick that gives you a 2/3 minion on the board. It's basically answers a lot of cards. Like, it used to answer all the fucking apple saucer easily, and now it's even easier. It's just reliable. Bean counter, poor bean counter. They nerfed him to a 4-cost 1/1, but then after that they gave him team up. I'm sadly cannot give him any benefit of the doubt. Even with team up, it's just not good. Bellflower, very angry. It just does not do enough. Berry Blast. That's where you belong. Beta Carotina. This is the weird part because we also consider heroes. She has the... When it comes to heroes, she has the Guardian and the Smarty class, which kind of work well together. But their superpowers are nothing special. B flat. After the recent buff to make it a 3-cost, this thing actually goes in reliable. Good job. Good job, B flat. You flattened everyone's expectations. Big Chill. This is a superpower. 1 cost, freeze a zombie, draw a card, this goes in reliable. Freeze only delays the inevitable if you don't have something to kill that card with, but that's about it. Binary Stars. If you can make them work, they are super strong. Double damage on all your zombies is no joke. Biodome Botanist. This goes into niche. It's a 2-cost, 2/3. It creates a 1/1 cost plant with no abilities that you can probably fit to your vampire. But I'll say that he really doesn't have much use. Sure, he clocks lanes, but that's about it. Verb of Paradise goes straight into strong. It may not have the best stats for a 5-cost, but the ability to conjure superpowers makes it near unstoppable. Black Hole. Good old Black Hole. It reduces damage by 1 of a plant. It sucks plants inside of it. You can never go wrong with Black Hole. It's also just a 1-cost environment too. Oh, poor Black IP. From a 2/3 to a 2/2. You're going in reliable from... He used to be all the way up here when it was a 2/3. Now he's down here. He grows every time you play a trick, but with it actually having less health, this means a lot of tricks can be played and still kill it easily after. Logposter, the nightmare of every mixed up gravedigger. Unreliable. You need gravestones for it to actually do anything. But when you run into that fucker with gravestones, oh, is this the best card in the game. Bloomerang is just a worse version of a different card, sadly, but it still has uses. It goes in reliable. Blooming Heart. They nerfed it from a 2-2 to a 2-1, which is understandable. It's still strong no matter what though. It grows in attack every time it hits something, so you have to answer it no matter what. Blowgun. Enough said. The buff did nothing. Gooseberry. It's in the It goes in reliable. It does damage when you plant it to whatever you select, but it's not really worth it for its own stats and its own cost. But it's still reliable. Bobblehead. Remember when this guy was called Headhunter? Goes in reliable because you need to build decks around him, but when it works, boy it works. You just straight up dominate. Body Gorg. After you have no more little shield block, this guy is kind of irrelevant, but for what it is, he at least does his job. Bog of Enlightenment. This is now like the best environment for plants, which is saying a lot for environments that plants own. Bonk Choi. Goes into reliable like everything else. When you place it first time, it's a 3-1, so it's even better on the first plant. After that becomes a 2-1. Bonus track, Buckethead. Currently running it in all my Smash decks. Good old reliable, I love this guy. I want to befriend him. Brain Freeze. With the recent buffs to Beastly, he actually kinda just chills and strong with a lot of other cards. Suddenly he's not very bad anymore. But like Frozen Tundra, the buff he got to Frozen Tundra is nuts. Brain Venter. Deck build around him, deck not build around him, he's always reliable. It's a 0 cost 2-1, essentially. Brain Nana. I don't even need to say anything else. Prior Rose. This thing has killed me a lot, but it's not exactly dominant because you need a deck with a lot of flowers for it to get value. And flowers are not the best cards in the game. But even then, 3-4 insta-kills whatever it kills it or damages it, and also insta-kills everything that damages a flower. There is no shot you do not get value out of this thing as long as you have flowers. Brute Strength. Does it 3 damage or 4 damage? Whatever, this thing goes straight up into strong. You're basically guaranteeing a trade to go in your favor with it. Bubble. Give a plant like 4 health and move it to a different lane. Goes in reliable because sometimes you might just need that plant to block something. Buckethead. Sorry Bucket Boy, you're just not worth it. Buffshroom. You need a full-on mushroom deck to do much with him, so he doesn't go much further. Bungee Blubber. Goes straight into strong. It's at 1 cost, deal 2 damage to not even just the zombie, the plant, just to the plant hero as well. Actually, no, this goes straight into dominant, because this can actually win you games straight up, much like Berry Blast can. Hell, it's even cheaper than Berry Blast. Buried Treasure, the RNG Lord's favorite card, goes into reliable, because legendaries, even the worst ones, when they cost 1 less, they are at least somewhat usable. Button Shroom. Enough said. Cabbage Bolt. You're going here, 2-4 in the top lane. The problem is that it's only a 2-4 in the top lane. If it was a 2-4 everywhere else and it became a 3-5 in the roof, that'll have been fine. That'll have made it niche at least. But right now it's not worth it. Cactus. It has some niche usage with cards like Pecanolet, but overall it's outclassed by a different cactus. K-Explosion. They buffed it, then they nerfed it. I don't know. I'll keep it in the... I'll put it in niche because after they nerf it for whatever reason, it's not exactly outclassing Fruitcake again. Or hell, it's just not even considerable again. Rip K-Explosion. Camel Cross goes into reliable. Give 2 health to every zombie. It's also a pet, so Cat Lady pops off. Same with Zookeeper. Captain Combustible. No need to explain it. His superpowers alone are already super strong. Cucumber goes into strong. It only deals 1 damage, but it conjures you a legendary card. It costs 1 less. And not even just what he conjures, but everything you conjures costs 1 less. I'm at the loss of words. He's just strong. Not quite dominant because he's RNG heavy, but he's strong. Captain Deadbeard. He's sadly not selectable by default, but he's different enough that he can be counted as his own card. Goes into good old reliable, 3 cost 4-3. Not bad at all. Captain Flameface, he's no longer a gravestone, so that tanked him a lot, but he's still reliable because, you know, even though pirates are worse, it's still really good to have your swashbuckler be able to hit face. Or any pirate hit face when you have a swashbuckler. Sorry, Cardboard. You're cool, but not cool enough. Cartotillery. They buffed him recently to a 5-3, so now he at least goes in reliable. Cat Lady. They buffed her, but then they nerfed her because she became too strong. Guess where she still goes? Cattail. Cattail. You're also not worth using. 3-2 amphibious just doesn't cut it enough for 3 costs. You may be cute, but that doesn't save you. Celestial Custodian. Good old the janitor that buffed Dev that fixed the game a bit, I guess. He goes into reliable. He used to be niche, but with a recent buff to how from removing 2 cost to 3 cost cards, he goes up here. He also became a 3-4, which is nice for him. Sorry, you're literally worse than the Kaiser buff. You draw a card, but that's just not worth it. Cherry Bomb. Mish. You're better off just using Periplast, because it can hit face, than over Cherry Bomb. Chili Pepper. Niche, you need a freeze deck for it to work. Because otherwise it's kind of just understated for what it does. It freezes a zombie, but 2-1 for 3 cost just to freeze a zombie is not good enough on its own. Chimney Sweeper. It becomes a 3-2 on the roof when it's just a 1 cost. Why could not the cabbage will be the same deal? Chomper. He can be used, but he's not worth it most of the time. I'm sorry, Chomper. I love you. I want to pet you, but you are not good. Chompzilla. Yeah, you're going in strong too. He has good superpowers. He also has a selection of pretty solid plans, like ramp with bonus attacks. That's enough said, because you also gain access to cards like fucking Cop Cannon. Which sure, now it's balanced, but it's still really, really strong. Champion. Goes into niche. When it works... Oh! But when he doesn't work, which is most of the time, then he doesn't work. Citron. He's Beta-Carotene, but if Beta-Carotene had better superpowers. Cop Cannon, he went from a 6-6 to a 4-6, so he's no longer overpowered, but he's still very much dominant. Weaken 3 zombies by -1/1, and also it just kill any zombie no matter what. It's just really good, even now. Coffee Grounds. It has niche use, that's for sure. But most of the time you should just run Pog instead. Coffee. They buffed him, so he goes into niche. What he does is that he basically is an expensive going barrel, which places him here on the board. Con Zone. Sorry, Con Zone, you just don't do enough. Conehead Zombie. You also go here. Hong the Zombie. It's a 2-cost 2-2, deal damage to whatever. Deal 1 damage to something. It goes into reliable because that 1 damage can really make a difference. Cool Bean. If you run a deck build of gravestones, you're gonna hate any plant running this. But if you're the plant and you're trying to gravestone deck, damn is it nice. Suddenly it just goes into reliable because you need to face gravestones. Copter Commando. This is, I believe, just a card. It just doesn't do enough for it being a solo card. It needs to be the trick. Corn Dog. It's good old reliable. It's a dog. Cornucopia. I'm sorry, but you're too expensive for an RNG fest. You need to be like Bad Moon Rising, where it has to be from a certain cost and you place like 5 or more cost plans in order for it to be worth it. Cosmic Bean. If you can make a deck around him, he's pretty fine. Cosmic Dancing Zombie. Overshoot on a dancing card. If you get binary stars, this is so stupid. It's like 4 damage to face, guaranteed. Cosmic Sunflower. Not many flowers actually deal damage, so she's not very worth it. Cosmic Imp. Now this goes into reliable. Any imp, if you make it deadly, it's bonkers. And a lot of cards are imps. Some of the better cards are imps. So you know what, it's really nice. Even the worst imps, like normal imp, it being deadly makes all the difference. Cosmic Shroom. It gives it gives 2 damage to a mushroom. It's niche at best. Cosmic Nut gives 3 damage to a nut. Actually goes into reliable because every nut aside of Pecanolet benefits from that. And if you get Pecanolet, then Reposo, you have 7 damage on the board. I'm sorry. You're just not good, even with your buffs. Niche. It gives Bullseye, but not a lot of science cards that are actually gonna be that good. Even with Bullseye, because they tend to either already have Bullseye or have really low damage output. Cosmic Sports Star. Straight into the strong tier. Reduces cost. Straight up cuts the cost of a zombie by 2. Of a sports zombies, but it still costs it. A lot of sports zombies are bad because of their cost. So gutting it like that just makes a lot of those cards really good, if not outright broken. Thanos Yeti. Niche, I've been running him, and he can be getting some serious value, but it's niche. You also just need... You need the Starstone Light for him not to die. Cosmos. Reliable. If you have environments, then this guy is pretty bonkers. Cro-Magnolia. This is if Very Angry was better and worse at the same time. It goes into not worth using. I don't know how they did it. This is Very Angry but better and worse. I do not know how they pull it off. Cryo Brains. Reliable, you are gonna be always a turn ahead. But you better hope the plant hero doesn't take advantage of your usage of Cryo Brains. Cryo Yeti on... Oh boy. If this guy pops off, he is unstoppable. But most of the time you're probably not gonna have him pop off. You're probably just conjuring him by accident from buried treasure. Cuckoo, they removed the clock synergy. But otherwise he is just a class cannon. Not very good in this game. Oh boy, Cursed Gargolet. Have they buffed you to hell and back? They made they made Gargs better, and then they gave him the ability to just take away block meter charge from the opponent. It's really good. If you haven't used it, use it. Cut down the size. Niche. It's sadly just niche. The damage threshold is sadly too high for it to get significant value in most games. Cyborg. Good old Cyborg zombie. I don't think I need to explain, this guy goes next to his friend over here. It's basically just a fuck you to the entire board. The plant hero cannot play something and not have it die in the early turns. It also gives you a Vengeful Cyborg too, which is nice. Dance Off. This summons 2 backup dancers. After the buff they gave it, it goes into reliable. Dandelion King. This is weird because if it costed less, it would be too much, and if it costed more, it would be... If it costed less, it would be too much. It'll go into niche, but that's... Let me explain properly. This thing removes half of the plant hero's health. Removes half the zombie hero's health. The problem is that it's a 6 cost, so it plays pretty late. When the zombie hero probably doesn't have much health either. So at 6 cost it's kinda slow, but if you made it any cheaper, like a 5 cost or a 4 cost, God forbid, it would be bonkers. It would be too fucking strong. It'll go from niche to dominant overnight because it just removes hell like crazy. As it's now, it's just niche. Dark Matter Dragon Fruit. Dominant to dominate everything. You do not beat Dragon Fruit. Once it's placed, it's Joever. Deep Cigarg. After the recent buff, he goes straight into dominant tier. He grows in 1/1 for every zombie you play, so it's like you're having a fucking juiced up on life of the party. That is also amphibious and has hunt. And the best part is that this thing also increases the stats by 1/1 to everything you place. You place this guy, he goes from 1/2 to 1/3, just like that. He also has hunt, so and every time something hunts, it grows in strength by 1/1. And this guy over here also grows in strength by 1/1 if something hunts. I'm at a loss of words on how strong Deep Sea Yarg is right now. Defensive and it's defense. Reliable. He just makes tricks cost fuck ton. And he's good, and that's good. It's just not gonna be that good long term. They nerf Dance Floor. Sally goes here. It's too weak. It gives bullseye to everything that's 2 or less. But that's such a small damage threshold that it's not worth it. Especially when she only has 1 health. They buffed him from a 4/6 to a 6 cost 5/5. It's still not worth it most of the time, but at least he has proper damage output. Yeah, Dim Dog Walker pretty strong. Go fight me. Sorry. You're amphibious and that's like your only benefit. You're literally just cattail for the zombie side now that I think about it. Dolphinado. This thing will just make one random plant bounce off the board. It's niche if you need to hit a specific plant at that point to get noticeable value. Doomshroom. Destroy everything that has 4 damage or more. Note that I didn't say just zombies. Everything, including plants. They all die to Doomshroom if they have more than 4 damage. If they have 4 damage or more. Sadly, this puts it in niche because it means you kill your own board too. But when it gets value, it's just... wow. Double mint. You're a bit too expensive for what you do. You can become really powerful, but you're just too slow at it. Dr. Spacetime. One of my favorites. If it hits face, then some of the cards it conjures are really strong and also cheaper. 0 cost this bullshit, imagine. Drum Major. Sorry, not sorry. Dark Stash. It goes into strong. When you have a mustache deck, even without a mustache deck, this thing can pop off hard if it gets even just 1 hit in. Ducky Tube. They buffed him recently, so he now goes into reliable. Elderberry is the card I was saying I was outclassing Bloomerang. They're straight into the dominant tier. 5, instead of 5/3, but it's still a 5 straight to the face, so it's still pretty strong compared to Bloomerang. Electric Blueberry, it's niche. It randomly kills a zombie or hits you for 6 damage. Electric Boogaloo benefited a lot from both the buffs and absolutely suffered from the nerfs. Goes into reliable though. Its superpowers are still some of the better in the game. Electrician, they buffed his health. Still goes into reliable still though. He's reliable, just not good. Strong. Electrobolt. 1 cost, deal 3 damage. I don't think I need to say where it goes. Grave Berry Blast is deal 3 damage for 2 cost. Embiggen. 1 cost, give a plant 2/2. Go straight into strong. Use this on Captain Combustible with the moss. We repeat moss. Props me. Energy Drain goes into reliable. He's reliably a threat, but he's not reliably gonna become strong. Answer Uproot, they gave him amphibious and took away 1 health point for some fucking reason. He moves either a plant or a zombie, so he at least goes into reliable. Escape through time, a zombie cannot die from damage sources. Straight into reliable. It can still die from hard removal, like destroy cards, but otherwise it's just impossible to kill. Espresso Fiesta. Sorry, it's 3 bonus attacks, I know, but you need to reach turn 8 for this to actually become usable. That's, I guess, easily achievable with you. That's about it. Evaporates. A damage plant just fucking dies instantly. Draw a card. Goes into reliable because there's a lot of high health cards that will probably be better off if they just fucking died now than later. Evolutionary Leap. We need a leap! Reliable. It's up to RNGs is what you get, but it's often gonna be reliable. Excavator. Even ignoring its trait, it's into reliable. It's 4 damage to anything for a 3 cost. And if you have an environment, you can just bounce it together with whatever plant was in it. When you get that one pop-up from Excavator Zombie, it's probably all over for the plants. This used to be dominant, but after the nerf to make it from a 7 to 6, it goes into strong. Sorry, not sorry. Exploding Imp. Goes into niche. It's kind of just a better cuckoo zombie, kind of. It dies at the end of the turn, but it's 6 damage. It's nothing to scoff at if it hits face or a plant. Extinction Event. Any plant and its copies lose stats. Reliable. It's not always gonna be enough, but it's a good step to guarantee you a win. 2 cost, place something on top of it, it instantly kills the zombie, goes into strong. On its own it's not good enough, but when you have something on top of it, it's just wow. Fertilizer, give a plant 3/3, goes into niche. Goes into niche, sadly, because Ambiguous is just better. Final mission went from dominant to niche, sorry. You're now really only usable with Captain Deadbeard. Fire Pea, and not worth using. Fire Rooster. 3 costs, 1/2. If a plant gets placed here, it runs to a different lane and deals 1/1 if there's and deals 1 damage to whatever plant was in the lane it ran into. Really just reliable, solid card. Even with its much better stats of 4/5/5, it's just not good because of its ability to bounce the zombie. It's rarely if ever gonna be good. Fireweed, I guess goes into reliable. It dies to its own ability, but that's fine because at least it deals itself a solid amount of damage. Fireworks, 3/4 deal damage to everything on the field. It's niche, you basically need to run it in very specific decks. Or hell, you will probably just run it on its own if you just hate mushrooms that much. The Fishy Imp. It's good old reliable, 3 damage in the water lane that they might not even be able to answer for a while. A Flag Zombie. It makes every zombie cost 1 less. Do I even need to say why this goes into strong tier? It works in any deck that has pricey, slow cost, it doesn't matter. This thing goes in every deck that just needs to have a cheaper cost. Flamenco. They nerfed it because of the binary stars combo. That doesn't stop it from being reliable though. You're going right next to them. You two are a combo mate in heaven. Flourish, yeah, it's just a worse version of a superpower. It's sorry, but it's just not good. Foot Soldier. Place 5 cost 3/4. If it's on heights, it deals 3 damage. You're not good enough. Force Fields. Plants here become unkillable. Bold of you to assume a zombie here doesn't run great any form of environment. It's too costly for what it does. Forget-me-nots. Zombie tricks cost 1 more. Yeah, that's about right. Freddy cost. 1 cost 2/2. If the plant hero plays tricks, this thing becomes a 1/3/3 and runs to a different lane. Goes straight into strong. If they cannot deal with it, it's pretty much over. Francantuar. They recently buffed it so it deals splash damage, but it also had the ability to grow in straight when a zombie dies. It goes into reliable though. it's still a Garg that doesn't have any way to keep itself alive. Frosty Mustache. If deck built around it, deck's not built around it, it's still reliable. It's reliable, prevent them from attacking. It gives you a mustache too. You could conjure Dog Stash from it, and we have seen right with that. Fume, Shroom. You're not good enough, even with Strike Through. Also, what happened to you? Why are you so skinny suddenly? You used to be fat. Like, I appreciate the effort, but you just looked better when you were fat. On Life of the Party. The good old reliable. You'll never go wrong with On Life of the Party. Or sorry, Fun Dead Razor. My bad. Gadget Scientist, they buffed him from a 2-2 to a 3-3. He used to be reliable already, but he stays unreliable. Collecta Cactus is the cactus that outclassed Cactus. Straight into reliable. It's no longer a... Because it has only one health, it no longer goes into strong, but it's always gonna be reliable. Galvanize, give 2-2 to any zombie. I mean, you've seen where I put MB, and it goes right next to it. Right next to it. Right next to it! Gardening Glove. They made it so it now gives you a trick instead of drawing a card, but it's still not worth using most of the time. It's just fun now. It's just a fun card. It's just not worth using in a serious deck. Oh boy, you have a story. They made you from a 5-7 to a 5-7 untrickable to a 5-6 with no untrickable. And then they gave... But you still have one of the most bonkers ability of the games to mimic bonus attacks, so you go straight into strong. If he was still untrickable, it was straight up dominant. But now you have to go back to gadgets, the fucking scientists, teleportation zombie to actually not have it die fast. Sorry, Garg Fit. Garg that throws more Gargs. What a combo. Yeah, as if it wasn't bad that it threw an imp in your face, now it just throws a full-on Garg. I don't think I need to say why this goes into dominant. It can give you a fucking Zombot and wipe the whole field. I mean, it used to wipe the whole field, now it just wipes 3 lanes, but that's not here or there. Even then, now with the Garg's big buffs, it's just so much stronger. Gargantures that get thrown by imps, as if it wasn't bad enough that guards were throwing Gargs. Goes into strong now that it's a 4-cost. 4-cost once you, it's a bit fucking much for getting a 5-cost Garg. Gargologists make every Garg cost 2 less. With the Gargs being better, this goes straight into reliable. Hell, I even run it in decks now. Gorlick, 1 cost, 1-5. If a vampire bites it, it instantly dies. And if another zombie bites it, it just moves to the lane. To a different lane. Where it cannot attack that turn. Goes into reliable. Gas Giant. Oh boy, Gas Giant. This guys go straight into strong. 6 cost, 5-5. If it dies, it deals 5 damage to the plant hero. And every time it takes damage, it deals 1 damage to everything. The reason it doesn't go in dominant is because it deals damage to your own zombies. But if it didn't, it was straight dominant. Gatling P. If this thing... You plant it on top of a P plant, it does a bonus attack, so already it gets value right off the bat when you play it on top of a P shooter. But, or any P plant, this includes P-Pod, fucking Click Piece, who are also here in dominant. But if it stays alive, then it deals 10 damage to face, or whatever zombie it was facing it, if it doesn't die. Really fucking strong. Genetic Experiment, 1 cost 2-1, it grows by 1-1 every turn. Straight into strong tier. If they don't do anything about it, this thing just becomes way too powerful. Gentleman? It went from a 4-cost 2-2 to a 3-cost 1-4. Goes straight into strong. It still gives you 2 brains at the end of each turn. And now it's really hard to remove with that much health and so little damage. Geyser. Heal everything on the field for 4, excluding zombies. Go straight into strong, it's just a better tackle. Lizard, they buffed it from dealing 2 damage to everything to 3 damage to everything. It went from a niche with a few uses to straight up strong. A lot of things just die. Do you fucking hate pine clones? Just run this guy in your deck and suddenly Pine clones are Pine gone. Gloom Shroom. Deal 3 damage to zombies here in next door. Has 5 damage bullseye. It's sadly... yeah, it goes into dominant. I will say it goes into strong, but nah. It's if this thing pops off, it's over. It's over in every game. The goat. 0 cost 1/1. If any goat is hurt, it increases in damage. It goes into reliable. I've run goats just by themselves and they do a well enough job once they grow. Going viral. 3 cost, give every zombie 1/1 frenzy and shovel 3 more into this thing. It doesn't go anywhere but dominant. This thing wins games. Yeah, you can run only one of this thing, and if you play it after that, you just have 3 more in your hand. It's bonkers of a card. Go nuts. 3 cost, 2/2. If you play a team up card, every team up card, including this guy, grows in damage by 1. Goes into... certainly not reliable. It goes into niche because team up cards are generally not the best. Great power, double the damage of any plant. And great responsibility. It doubles the health of any plant. They go next to each other on reliable because they do their job reliably. Assuming you have a minion that has worth enough health or damage. Grapes of Wrath, 7 cost 6/6. If it dies, deal 6 damage to the zombie hero. It goes into reliable. It comes very late into the game, which is an issue with Gas Giant, but at least it's not turn 6. This is not turn 7 for the Gas Giant. Plus, at that point, you can probably just ignore it if you're that late into the game. Oh boy, Grass Knuckles. You used to be the most dominant hero in the game. They nerfed a bunch of Mega Grow and Guardian to make him less oppressive. So he lies in strong. Grave Buster, just destroy a gravestone. Goes right next to his brother. Grave Mistake, flick a gravestone off the fucking field. Draw a card, goes into reliable because fuck your gravestones. If you get some big gravestone with this, it's so over. They nerfed him from a 2/1 to a 2/2 to a 2/1, but it still has bullseye, so he still goes into reliable. Graveyard, 1 cost, hide the zombie in a gravestone, and increase it by 1. It goes into niche. Gravity got an insane buff of making it untrickable. 6 cost 7/7, drag zombies into it, untrickable. It even has armor 1. Do I even need to say anything else? This goes straight into dominant. Once you place it, it's unstoppable. Green Shadow. One of the weaker zeros. Sadly, you go into niche. Mega Grow and Smarty don't have much synergy together, sadly. But her superpowers are her signature one is good, but the others are a bit questionable. Grizzly Pear. On its own, it's just not that much good, but it's still niche. It still has some uses. Grow Shroom, 2/1, grow a plant, another plant by 2/2, goes into niche 2. Just join, goes into reliable. Its ability is actually really, really solid, and it even places a solid field. A solid body on the board. Crocodile, 4 cost, 4/3. If it's destroyed by a zombie, it deal 4 more damage to that zombie. Goes into a good old strong because fuck it. You are killing almost every zombie in the game if they kill this thing and take damage from it. It's 8 total damage to a zombie. The only thing that doesn't die in this game to that is fucking Zombot 9000. Helicopter is whatever if Helicopter Imp was good. 6 cost, places 6/5 during Trick's turn. This goes straight into strong because God forbid your opponent has nothing to stop it with. They will have nothing to stop it with, but if they have nothing after that turn, it's pretty bad for them because you're going into the next turn while they were surprised by a bunch of damage. The Lana Split, sorry, you're going into this. Alplanina, sorry. You went from a 1/2 to a 2/2. While you're strong to buffed fruits, you're making Dark Matter so much worse. You're just not good at 2 cost. Pumpkin, Founded Pumpkin. 1 cost, 4/1, it gives the zombie hero monster the monsters have been plants, zombies that have been buffed this patch, so it doesn't exactly benefit him. Haunting Ghost, 2 cost, 2/1, not worth it most of the time. It removes the stat 1/1 of a plant, but that's about it. And Ghost Zombie, you basically get the hunting goal out of it. You're going next to it. Headstone Garver, this thing gives you 1/1 to your gravestones once they pop. He goes into reliable because you're always gonna benefit from your gravestones being tougher. Health Knot, this deals damage with its health instead of its damage. Goes into niche because you need to build a deck around it to have it be really that worth it. Healthy Treat, a zombie gets 1 damage and 3 health. Goes straight into strong. You're making that zombie really hard to deal with. Hearty Choke. 4 cost 3/4. If deal damage to the zombie hero based on how much you heal, goes into niche because you need a heal deck around it, but there's definitely something to build with it. Heroic Health. Give your zombie hero 6 more health. Heal your zombie hero for 6. Good old reliable healing. Hibernating Berry. 3 cost. Every time this thing takes damage, it increases in damage by 4. If you have something that fronts it with little damage, this thing can be really powerful. But otherwise, it dies too fast. It gives you a berry card, so it goes into reliable. That includes berry blast, by the way. Hippity Hop Guard. When he's placed, make an egg. When he takes damage, make an egg. When it dies, make an egg if it wasn't from a trick. Goes into strong, because eggs give you some of the better zombies in the game. Hollow Fora, give you 2 plants at the cost of 1. Goes straight into strong. Hot Date. 1 health, 2 cost. Deal 3 damage to whatever zombie that kills it. Goes straight into reliable. At its cost, it actually kills a lot of zombies at the same cost, sometimes even higher. Hot Dog Imp. 2/2 with strike through, not worth it most of the time. You need to make it deal more damage. Hot Lava, they made it a 0 cost environment. Goes straight into niche tier. I said niche tier. Hot Head. 3 cost, 1 health. If it dies, it deals 6 damage. It kills like most zombies in the game for 3 cost, even the most pricey ones. Hovercoat, 3 cost, 1/3, buff a zombie by 2/2. It's also amphibious. It sadly goes into just niche because it itself doesn't have much damage. And if you place it on an empty board, its ability doesn't happen. Fun. It also bounces in your hand when it takes damage, but both of you do assume it survives. Oh boy, one of my favorite heroes that has been butchered in terms of his signature superpower. Still goes into strong though. He's still very fun. Hunting Grounds. Zombies place here gain 2/2 and also gain hunt. If they leave the environment, they also gain 1/1. Goes straight into strong. Very, very good for 2 cost. Ice Moon. Freeze a plant on this thing. Have a zombie strike through. Straight into dominant. There's nothing you can do if you get some strong zombies on this thing. Ice Pirate. 2 cost, 3/1, freeze a plant if it's placed in an environment, goes into reliable. Iceberg Lettuce, just casually freeze a zombie, that's it. It goes into reliable. Yeah, it goes into reliable like with this guy. Imitator, imitates a plant. Do I need to say why it's good that it imitates plants? Immorticia. After the Gark buffs, I can tell you Immorticia is pretty much chilling. Because she was the Gark character. Yeah, when it comes to superpowers. She has a superpower that doesn't just not quite work with her to have her going straight into dominant. Imp Commander. 3 cost 2/4. If an imp hits the plant hero, it draws a card. Go straight into strong because what the hell, if you have a bunch of imps, you're not running out of cards. Infinity Clones. They're fine. You cannot run them normally, but you can get them in your deck from other cards. Infinity himself, if this was in the era of Infinity Powers, this guy was going into his own tier altogether. But he still goes into... he's still fine, so he goes into strong. Imp. Imposter. Gives a mustache to a zombie, to a imp after it died. If it dies, it gives you an imp with a mustache. He goes into reliable. Because you don't lose anything if he dies. Imp throwing Garg. Sorry. You're just not good. If you are not good as a swabby launcher. Imp throwing Imp goes into actually reliable because it gives you 2 cost imps, which are very bonkers often enough. Encrypted, hide a zombie in a gravestone, draw a card. If the opponent doesn't have Gravebuster, this thing is actually really nice. Goes straight into strong. Interdimensional zombie, 1 cost 2/2. If you place another side zombie, it becomes a 3 cost card. It goes straight into strong because a lot of the 3 cost cards are really nice. Intergalactic Warlord, 5 cost, everything, and I mean everything in the zombie hero's hands, in their deck, in their field, in literally everything grows up by 1. You're giving a permanent buff to everything if you play the Warlord. This guy goes straight into dominant tier, because once he gets value, you are pretty much set for life. Interstellar Bounty Hunter, 4 cost, 4/4 with Frenzy, it has Hunt, if it kills something it draws a card. It's the perfect pack of stats, goes into dominant. They buffed the invasive species recently, so it's better, although it's still very niche because he's an environment related card. Iron Border, 1 cost, 2/3 with Bullseye. If it's an environment, deals 3/4. What the hell? Good god thing it's only locked to huge Giganticus. This goes straight into dominant. Jack-o'-lantern, 3 cost, 2/3 with strike through. If it deals damage, it grows in strength. This goes into reliable. Because it doesn't grow in health, so it doesn't become unkillable too. Jelly Bean, place it on top of a jelly to bounce a zombie. Every time a zombie gets bounced, this grows in strength by a lot. Strong, because if you build a deck around it, it's really hard to stop. Jester, 3 cost, 1/5. If it takes damage, deal 2 damage to plant hero. Goes into reliable. It's never a bad card to run. Jolly Holly, 5 cost, 4/1 with amphibious. If it freezes plants, it freezes zombies next to it, it goes into strong because that's actually pretty solid ability for a 5 cost, 4 damage. Juggernaut, also better known as Johnny. 2 cost, 2 damage Bullseye, 2 health with armor. It's the perfect 2 cost carding. Goes straight into strong. Jumping Bean, 5 cost, 3/2, bounces zombie off the field. You need a bouncing thing for this guy to be worth it. Jurassic Fossil, 2 cost, 2/3, untrickable. Place it on top of a professional, which there are plenty of. This becomes a 4 or 5 untrickable. Goes straight into strong. For 2 cost, that's a lot of stats. Kernel Cold, 8 cost, 6/6. It deals damage to everything on the field, specifically zombies. Still 4 damage to every zombie on the field. Goes straight into strong. Actually, no, this goes into his brothers in dominant because 6. That might as well clean most boards by turn 8. There is nothing left by the point you play him. Kernel Cold goes into reliable. He's only good if you put it on heist, but even then that he has a solid enough use. Ketchup Mechanic, somehow not nerfed in this patch. 3 cost, it grows in 1/1. It heals your hero for the amount of zombies that are on the field, and it also grows in stats. What the hell is this? This thing is making you really hard to kill, and it also itself is really hard to kill. It's niche. You play and make a non-amphibious zombie amphibious, but that's about it. King of the Grill, you were better off when you conjured gourmet cards, but even without that you are still really strong because you give guards that have been buffed. Kitchen Sink, 6 cost, 3 damage with Bullseye and also anti-hero 3, so it becomes 6 damage on an empty board when he has nothing on his face. Has 6 health with armor 1, and he also has overshoot, so he deals 2 more damage with bullseye. This guy is a pack of stats that is near unstoppable. He only lacked unshrinkable. He goes straight into strong. In fact, no, he also has frenzy. No, he goes straight into dominant because he can pretty much win you the game. Kite Flyer. 3 cost, 1/3, draws a card when it deals damage. It's reliable, no matter what. Knight of the Living Dead. If you don't play Zombie King, then what's wrong with you? Knockout. So, I think this is knockout. I know there's 2 hands, but I don't remember what one of them does. They are both gonna go. This is gonna go unreliable. Landscape. 3 cost, 2/3. Remove the stats 2/2 from a plant. This actually can be really game changing. Goes straight into strong tier. Laser Base Alpha. 3 cost. Strike through deadly. Do I need to explain why this thing is absolutely stupid for what it does? You thought Frozen Tundra was stupid because it froze a plant? What about just straight up kill it? With a 1 cost mini, with a 1 damage mini. Why is that a thing? Laser Beam, now it increases, ignore what its stats say here. It's a 6 cost, 6 health, it grows in damage for the amount of sun you have. So this thing can deal anywhere from 1 to 10 damage or more. And because it's a 6 cost, this means you're always gonna get it with a 6 cost strike through, which pretty said, pretty much really hard to deal with if you have no insta kills. Laser Cattail, it became a 2 cost 2/2 with team up. That grows when it has a team up. It's now a reliable card instead of a meme. Lava Guava, deal 2 damage to zombies here next door. Create an environment, lava environment. I'll say it goes into reliable. It's also a 4 cost now too, because lava up is now a 0 cost. Lawnmower, just destroy a zombie on the ground. The thing of zombie nightmares. Niche, because you have better removal. Leaf Blower, blow a gravestone or a zombie if he's placed in an environment. Goes straight into reliable. In fact, no, he goes straight into strong because that just denies a play outright. Leftovers. After the buff of being at 1 cost, give everything 1/1, this thing gone into reliable. Leprechaun Imp. 1 cost, 2/2, shovel a pot of gold that draws 6 cards and it costs only 1. This goes into reliable. Lieutenant Carotron. Team up, conjure a root, it's nothing special. Better Criterion doesn't have good supers. Lightning Reed, it became a 2 cost, 2/2 with 1 splash. He went from no worth it to just kinda niche. Light Speed Seed just gives you 2 random seeds, goes straight into niche. It's the RNG photo. Weird Body, 0 cost 1, heal your face for 2. This thing just is strong not because of what its own stat is strong, because it's a team up, so it goes on top of Cop Cannon. It literally goes all the way into strong just because Cop Cannon exists. Lily of the Valley. Niche. They should have buffed this update. It basically just gives... Oh right, Lily of the Valley gives like 2/2 to whatever is placed on heights. Lily Pad is just a worst version of the whale. Goes into not worth it most all the time. Lima Perennial Town, 1 cost, 2/2, shuffle magic beanstalks into your deck when you draw cards. Goes straight into strong. There's nothing that stops this thing when it comes to 1/2 on the plant side. Line Dancing Zombie, 3 cost, 3/1 with strike through when it moves to another lane after it's played. Goes straight into reliable. Loco Coco, 3/4 if it's placed, it gives you 2 walnuts. If it plays on top of the walnut, everything that has no damage gains 3/3. 3 damage, goes straight into reliable. Especially after Flame Up found good decks with him, he became really nice. 5 cost, destroy any plant, goes into niche sadly, it's not good enough for its cost. Loose Cannon, not worth it most of the time. Lost Colosseum, after its recent buff, it's actually pretty nice, it goes into reliable. Load Mode is just a better hover goat. Goes straight into reliable with the rest. Large 4-month launch. Bonus attack. It's a bonus attack. Where else will this thing go other than fucking top tier? 2 cost to just do a bonus attack on any fucking zombie. What? Here's the thing about Espresso Fiesta, it's bad because it's too pricey. You basically need to stall to even get value out of it, or just... And you also just need a strong minion altogether, which might not even be possible. Mad Chemist, they buffed him recently to be cheaper. Go straight into reliable. Nah, this guy is actually pretty strong because it gives you... You spend a trick, he gives you a trick back. He's pretty nice. Magic, Beanstalk. You only get him out of Conjures, but... You know what? There's a reason he's locked behind Conjures. 1 cost, deal 4 fucking damage, it has 4 health, and it draws you a card. It's about as fair as it gets in this game. Magnifying Glass, they've made him a 3-2 that grows in damage when you have the more sun you have. I wonder where I have seen that before. Psycho just under Beam. He goes just under for a tier under Laser Beam because Laser Beam has the health to survive for its cost compared to him. Maniacal Laugh. 6 cost, give a zombie 5-5 with Frenzy. This is one of the most bonkers fucking stat buffs in the game. It wins you games, that's about it. That's all it needs to do. Marine Beam 3-3 with 3 health. 3 cost 3-3 and it grows more the more amphibious minions you have. Go straight into strong tier. There's almost nothing that stops it once it pops off. Mars Flytrap. 1 cost, 2-2, it drains the opponent's block meter and gives it to you. Goes straight into reliable. Mayflower is now a 2 cost, 2-4. It gives you a specific set of plants. It goes into niche. Medic! Yeah, he goes into nowhere most of the time, although he's not terrible. He's not terrible, he's just not... This role is just not that useful in this game. Nebula, if you make a deck around Nebula, this thing is absolutely ridiculous. Go straight into strong. Melon Pool, they recently buffed it to have more health, I think. Yeah, sadly it's just niche, it doesn't have much to offer. Metal Petal, 4 cost, 3-4, gives you sun each turn, it's reliable. It's a sunflower that can defend itself. Meteor Strike, 1 cost, deal 3 damage to a zombie. Goes straight into strong. It's just under. It's actually no. If we put lightning bolt here, it goes. This goes here too. Meteor Z. Whatever zombie stays on here gains 2 damage. It's kind of niche. Mini Ninja. It's 1 cost, 2-1 with anti-hero 2. That means it deals 4 damage to the plant hero if it. Go straight into strong. Go straight into strong. 1 cost, deal 4 damage to the plant hero. That's bonkers. Mirror Knight kind of reworked. So it became a 4 cost, 11 health, deal 1 damage bullseye whenever a knot is heard. This guy, he becomes almost unstoppable in a deck built around him. It's just ridiculous. Mix the Nuts. 3 cost, 2-2. If a team up plant is here, you can get a 3 cost 4-4, good old reliable card. You can never go wrong with it. Mixed up Gravedigger, every zombie hides in a gravestone and they are shoveled. It doesn't go into dominant sadly for all Pogo Mog fans. It goes into strong just because the 2 brothers here exist that can just shut your plants down. Molekale, leap up every plant on the field except Molekale and to acquire praised plant. This goes straight into strong because if you build a deck around him, he becomes near unstoppable. Monto Brondo! On its own, it's just kind of niche. She grows in strength every turn and kills a plant if it's in front of him, but if he grows in strength, but it's not enough with him. Sadly, if he's just a 5-5. Monkey Smuggler. They hella nerfed this guy for some fucking reason. Sorry, Monkey. Monster Mash. Yeah. Moonbase Sea. Give overshoot 3 to any zombie. Go straight into reliable. You can never go wrong with guaranteed damage to face. Why do I keep mispressing? Moonbeam. 3 costs you 5. If this thing deals damage, shovel a fucking magic beanstalk. I think we have all seen where I put a magic beanstalk, so I think that summon set can go straight under it. Moonwalker. 3 costs you 2. If placed on an environment or heist, this becomes a 3 cost 4/4. Really good stats, straight into strong tier. More Spore, it's the same deal as backup dancer except it's for blends. Where did I put where did I put that one? Okay, goes right next to it. Morning Glory, 1 cost 2/2. If you make 6 sun, it becomes a 1 cost 3/3. Goes into reliable. Mountain Climber is just a worst version of the Moonwalker. It goes into nowhere at all. Yeah, it has bullseye, but this thing only works on heights too, so it's much less flexible. It also costs more for some reason. Muscle Sprout, this thing grows in strength and health each time you place a plant. It's kinda reliable, I guess. Mushroom Grotto, every time a plant gets placed here, make a pop shroom in a random lane. This thing is actually really fucking nice. Goes straight into strong. Massage Monument on the other hand, yeah, it's a 3 cost 1/5. You get to place a zombie on top of this to do a bonus attack. Mustache Waxer, 1 cost 2/2. This gives you back a brain and gives you grows in 2 health when you play a mustache. Goes into good old reliable. It's runnable on any mustache deck ever. Mystery Egg, reliable. All the zombies this egg gives you are really good. Most of the time anyway. Navy Bean, he's at least niche now. Sorry, Navy Bean. You were never built to be good. Neptuna. She was just never meant to be. Neutral name, but 1 cost 2/2. When you play an environment, this thing deals damage. It goes into reliable. If you have strong environments, this thing is even more ridiculous. Newspaper Zombie. You just let him do his own thing. Otherwise, he's kinda niche. Nibble. I missed the old Nibble. But that one denied. This one is still really solid. It goes into reliable tier. Nightcap. If you don't play Cycle Cap, why bother? Genuinely. Nurse Guard. They bugged him out, but if you ignore the bug, the fact that every Gargantua that hits a plant heals you is pretty fucking strong. Not Signal. Make a nut. Draw a card. Goes straight into reliable. Enough said. Octo Zombie used to be the worst card, one of the worst cards in the game, but after the recent buff he is still one of the worst cards in the game, just now he has a niche. Because he gives you an Octo Zombie. Because he gives you the Octopet. On the note of the Octopet, this guy goes into reliable. 3 cost 3/2 Frenzy. Onion Rang. Every plant in your hand becomes 4. This goes straight into strong if you have cheap cards that deal low damage. And hell, even applies to high cost cards that don't deal much damage. Orchestra Conductor. Every plant, not every zombie KOs in strength by 2. He is kinda niche, but he has uses. Overstuffed Zombie, 4 cost 4/4 with Hunt, and it heals itself and you every time it heals something and survives. It goes into reliable after the recent buff. Pair of Pairs it's basically Shroom for 2, but questionably usable. Pair Paradise, just make duplicates of everything. If this thing goes well, it's pretty goddamn good. Paparazzi, every time you play a trick, this increases in strength. This goes straight into reliable. In fact, no, this thing can become really fucking strong if the plant cannot deal with it. Parasol, 4 cost 3/6. Everything around it becomes untrickable. I don't need to say anymore anything else. A lot of things just cannot kill it or other zombies around it. Party Time. 1 cost 2/2. It draws cards if the plant does a bonus attack. Goes into reliable. P-Patch is sorry. It's just sorry. P-Pod also over here. At least he has some times where he's worth it. Unlike some other guys. Peanut. 2 cost, 3 cost 2/4, kinda goes into niche. He has team up too, if you're wondering. Pear Cup, after 3 cost 1/1, if it gets destroyed, it turns into a a grizzly bear. This guy goes into strong because he can actually get you some serious value. You basically have 2 cards in one spot. Pair pal. Sorry, pea shooter, good old pea shooter. The Canalit. If you build a deck around this guy, hell, this guy might be one of the best cards in the game. Straight into strong tier. Pepper MD, another case of if you build the deck around him, this guy becomes one of the best cards in the game. Except heal decks are some of the most cancerous things I think I've witnessed in any game. This guy can become absolutely unstoppable. I'm debating if he should be in dominant or not. He'll stay in strong for now. Metamorphosis is RNG the video game. And it's not even good one like Flipping Station. Photosynthesizer, they reverted this guy to back to 1 cost. So it goes back to reliable. Pete Piper, 2 cost, 2/1, remove 1/1 stance from a zombie. She goes into niche. Pine clones. If you build a deck around these guys, they're fucking stupid. Go straight into strong tier. Pismashio. Not worth it, sorry, Pismashio. I'm trying to think of something. Planet of the Grapes, the cycle cap. The reason cycle cap exists and why night cap can even be used. Goes into reliable. Planetary Guardian, if you know what you do with this guy, he's fucking making you immortal. Straight into reliable tier. Plant Food. 4 cost, give a plant 1/1 and they do a bonus attack. This is what if Large Ranch was expensive, but also gave you more than a bonus attack. Straight into dominant tier. This thing wins games. Lantern, 3 cost, 3/3. If it's placed in an environment, it becomes a 3 cost 4/4 with bullseye. Straight into reliable. Lucky Blower, RNG for event cards. At least it's pretty event cards are at least pretty good, and it also grows in strength depending on the card's cost. So there is some genuine use to him. Bot Fighter. Bot Fighter. If you know what you're doing with Bot Fighter, he's kind of stupid. But he's going into reliable because he only works with team-ups to help him, so Captain Combustible. Pogo. They nerfed his health. What did that do? Quite frankly, nothing. Goes straight into strong tier. Goes straight next to Mug. Pogo Mug for the win, boys. Poison Ivy. 3 cost, 1/3. If there's no zombie in front of it, has anti-hero force, it becomes a 1/5, a 5/3. You cannot go wrong with Poison Ivy. Poison Shroom is just Poison Ivy, but if it was bad. But it still has a bit of use. Poison Oak, after the recent buff of making it a 5/6 with anti-hero 5, this is like the highest damage you can do in 1 hit. Goes into reliable now because it's also reasonably hard to kill now. Bull Shark, he's not actually a shark, but he's not worth using most of the time either. Popping Poppies, 6 cost 4/4, make 3 little bodies. This thing is never bad, this thing is always gonna be good. Goes straight into strong tier. Portal Technician, after the recent buff to make it a 5/4, he's seriously dangerous, and you have to answer him. Goes straight into reliable. Possess, gives zombie 2 health and frenzy. Goes into reliable because you can never go wrong with making them able to hit face unless they are a 1 cost card. A 1 damage card, sorry. Pot of Gold, you get this from Leprechaun Imp, it draws you 3 cards. Yeah, strong is good enough for it. Potato Mine, sadly you're outclassed. Potted Tower Files is now a 5 cost 4/4, it grows in strength, and I've seen it actually get use. It's now with... I just also realized now after it started to get used just how many things actually buff Potted Flower House. It's kind of ridiculous. Mayflower, if this thing survives the turn, it heals the hero for 1, and if the more flowers there are, the more it heals. Goes into reliable. Prickly Pear. Just don't. Primal Pea Shooter. 1 cost you bounce a zombie off the board. It's never not reliable. Primal Potato Mine outclasses Potato Mine. Goes straight into reliable. Primal Sunflower, 1 cost 2/1. It produces sun every turn. Also goes into reliable. It just has low health. Primal Walnut, it's now 8 cost, but it's still untrickable. 8 health. It's still untrickable and gives you a 4 cost card. So you know what? This still goes into strong. Primeval Yeti. Chungus Yeti. 5 cost for 4, placed on top of a zombie to give every zombie up 2/2 buff. This thing is nuts when it pops off. Goes into strong. Primordial Cheese Shower. I always liked this card, but he was just never that solid too. Sorry, boy. Professor Brainstorm. If you want zombies that just become straight up stupid, you've got this guy. This guy is like one of the best zombies in the game, honestly, with the sheer power he can hold. He goes straight into dominant. Puff Shroom! They nerfed this guy and then they buffed him back. From a 0 cost to a 0 cost 1/1 team up. Straight into strong. There's nothing to be said aside from the fact that he's pretty bonkers like this. Pumpkin. 3 costs 2/4 gives a plant to its 4. It's kinda niche. Punish Room. If a mushroom is destroyed, deal 2 damage to a random card. Kinda niche. If it dealt to something specific, yeah. Oh boy, you, the quarterly bonus. Do we have words with you? 4 cost, increase the strength of a zombie by 4, and it then does a bonus attack. This thing, I believe it's a bug that it does what it does, but my god, is it... You remember how I made this theory for Dragon Fruit? Forget about him being above. Nah, quarterly bonus is above him. Nerf, for the love of God. Quarterly bonus, top tier. Forget it. Nothing else matters on this tier list, but quarterly bonus. Quasar Wizard, 2 cost 2/2. If placed next to a zombie, it conjures a superpower. It's a superpower, so where do you think something that gives you superpower is gonna go? Quick Draw Con Man. He's no longer a pirate, so he can no longer be grown by Swashbuckler. Does that stop him from being a bit too... Does that stop him from being too strong? Not in the slightest. This boy goes into dominant. Nowhere. No exceptions. Raw Zombie. They made him from a 6 cost to a 5 cost, and he's basically just still to Sun. If you run a Sun Bandit deck, he's good, but otherwise, not much. Raiding Raptor. 3 costs 2/4. If it hits face, it draws you a card that costs 2 or less. It grows in damage every time you draw a card. This thing is absolutely bonkers. It can become easily unstoppable. Goes straight into dominant tier. Red Stinger. It's either a 4 cost 2/7 or a 4 cost 7/2. He's kinda niche, sadly. I mean, I'm rhetorically saying sadly because I don't like Stinger. Regifting Zombie. They made him now conjure cards, where 1/1 for you and -1/-1 for the plant. It goes straight into not even reliable. It's pretty strong now. Reincarnation. 1 cost 2/2 by default, but this thing has the ability to transform into any cards, so unrankable, because this thing can become literally everything in the fucking game. It's either too weak or too strong. There's no in between. You cannot really rank Reincarnation. Repeat Moss. Only good with fucking Captain Combustible, but with him it raises Repeat Moss to the top of tiers, just his existence. Sorry, Repeater. Rescue Radish. Goes straight into reliable. You'd be surprised how often Rescue Radish ability to bounce a plant comes in handy. Rockwall gave a zombie a 5 health buff because fuck it, he's not dying tonight. Goes straight into reliable. Rocket of Science. It's hard removal on the zombie side. Anything that has 4 health damage or more just instantly fucking dies if it's not untrickable. I don't need to say anything else. This guy is straight into dominant tier. This guy is gonna win you more games than you can count. Rodeo Guard, 7 cost, 5/9, move a plant to wherever the fuck you want. Go straight into reliable because it has high stats for its ability. Rolling Stone, destroy a plant that has 2 or less health damage. Go straight into strong tier. Root Wall, a plant gains 2 health and becomes unable to take damage. Go straight into good old strong, because fuck it, if it cannot die, then damn, good luck. Rose. I hate this fucking hero so much. So fucking strong. Rotobega. 2 cost, 2, 1, it deals damage to the other lanes. Go straight into reliable. It's also amphibious. It just cannot defend itself. Rustbolt. Goes into good old... is he reliable? Yeah, I think it fits in the strong tier. Sage. No. Sapling is actually one of my favorite plants. In PvZ 2 and in PvZ Heroes. Sadly, it's just reliable. 5-3, 6 cost, 5-3, it makes a sappy in place. It's really... In fact, here is the sappy place. The cost on this thing is bullshit, but the fucking... otherwise, it's the fact that it removes 3 damage from a zombie is really great. Savage, Spinach. It needs leafy cards to work, but once it works, it works. It's still niche though. Scorch Earth. It's like remove 1/1 from everything on the field. It's just Acid Rain all over again. In fact, it will go next to Acid Rain. Screen Door Zombie, 5 cost, 4/4. When it's first placed, it's unable to be killed by damage. Reliable. It's just has solid stats with the ability to... For its cost, it has solid stats with the ability to become unkillable for a turn. Sorry, Seashroom, you are cute, but you're just not good. Secret Agent, it's the Secret Agent. 1 cost, it bounces a zombie, give it 3 worth of stats. This thing is absolutely fucking stupid when you play your hand right. Goes straight into strong tier. Seedling can turn into any fucking card, sadly. It goes into unrankable. Sergeant Strongopara. You need berry decks for him to work. Sham Rocket is the plant equivalent of Rocket of Science, except everyone will tell you it's so much worse, and it is in fact so much worse than Rocket of Science by a massive shot. Shelf Shroom, 2 cost, 2/2. If you place something on top of it, it kind of just it deals 2 damage, kind of reliable. It's reliable damage at least. Chivalry, 1 cost, 2/1 team up. It's a pretty reliable card. You can run it in everything without going wrong. Shield Crusher Viking. Before, this thing was really fucking strong. It just, if it hit face, it was over. 7 damage bullseye and just removes your shield meter if you're a plant. But now that it's on the... Now with the recent buff of it removing shield, it goes straight into dominant. You do not win if this thing can hit you. On the other hand, we have Shooting Starfruit. It's fucking niche. It's the nichest card in the game. If you do not have a deck built around it making it better, it's not worth it. Shrinking Violet. Zombies here next door lose 2/2 out of stats. If they only have 2 damage by the end of it or less, they die. Shroom for 2. It's Pair of Paradise if Pair of Paradise was good. Go straight into reliable. Sizzle. The buff they gave to this card, they made it from a 5 cost to a 3 cost, deal 5 damage. It doesn't hit face, but that doesn't stop it from being super strong. In fact, it goes right next to its damaging brothers in dominant tier. It doesn't hit face, it's its only weakness. But other than that, it really is just a fucking reality check. Now, Skunk Punko's there. Sky Shooter... not worth it most of the time. It becomes a 5/4 in on the floor ceiling, but that's about it. Smackademia, same story. Small Knot, it's Small Knot. Smashing Garg. Sorry, Smashing Garg, I ran you recently, I like you, but you're not good enough. Smashing Pumpkin. You are better off not running it, sadly. Smelly Zombie. Now this is actually a good card. 3 costs, 2/4, just if it's not a plant hero, it just fucking dies. It's good old it's just good old reliable. Smoke Bomb, move a zombie, it grows in strength with +1, goes into reliable because it's absolutely fucking bonkers with the right zombies. Smoosh Shroom is just the worst Smashing Pumpkin. Snaggrass. It's pretty hard to get value out of it, so it's kinda niche. Snapdragon, they recently made it amphibious. That doesn't make some major changes to it, but it's just reliable. Sneezing Zombie, 4 cost, 2/4, plants cannot heal, and As long as field just lose 1-1. It's sadly just niche. Snorkeler zombie. So 1 cost, 2-1, it's amphibious. Actually, this one goes into reliable because why not run it as a 1 cost for the water lane. Snopey, 2-2, and then it's kind of niche. It's at least freezes zombies, but it has so low health that it's gonna die if the zombie wasn't already frozen. Snowdrop, every time something is frozen, every time a zombie is frozen, this thing grows in strength by 2. This thing can become really hard to deal with once it pops off. Let's go in the strong tier. Solar Flare, boy, they budget aggro Solar Flare a lot. Solar Winds, if there's no zombie here, make a sunflower. I don't see this environment as any good, sadly. Sonic Bloom, if depending on the amount of plants in the field deals direct damage to the plant, the zombie hero, not very worth it. Finally on the worth it plant, we have Solo Patch. Any damage you take to the face will be blocked by Soul Patch. If it's deadly, if it's damage that deals deadly damage, like Smelly Zombie, it just instantly dies sadly. But still, it's pretty nice. It also has armor 1, so it doesn't die to Toxic Imp, to Cosmic Imp. Sour Grace, 2 cost, 4 cost, 2-2, it deals damage to everything on the field. Because it's a grape, it's considered a berry, guess who synergized it with her? Yeah, it's pretty nice. Sow Beans, they made it from shuffle 4 to 5, it's still not worth it most of the time, but at least it's not your better off tier. Space Cadet is space... On its own, Space Cadet is not very good. It's much like Helicopter, where it's only really good if it's a trick. Space Cowboy. If this thing pops off, it's really fucking strong, but it's really hard to make it pop off because of how it's being a turn 4 card. Space Ninja. If it's been placed in an environment, it deals 1 damage to everything. It goes into reliable because it at least deals itself solid damage, but if you place this in a deadly environment, for example, this boy in Dominant over here, every hit will just insta-kill every plant on the field. You can also give it Battle of Battles if you wanted to. Space Pirate is not worth using most of the time. He's not that good, sadly. Sure, he can deal some solid anti-hero damage, but the fact that he's 3 cost and he will run possibly into another... This block he possibly runs into another danger. It's not good. Plus he just kind of dies terribly to Spikeweed Sector. On that note, Spikeweed Sector. They sadly nerfed this guy, but he's still usable. Spinapple. No. Just no. Split Pea. It hits your face for 1, which means you can charge your shield meter. And it also deals 4 damage for 2 costs. That's fucking nuts. Sportacus, 3 cost, 3-3. If the zombie hero plays a trick, it deals 2 damage to their face. Goes straight into reliable tier. He is always gonna do his job. Unless he dies. If he dies to a trick, he doesn't do the attack. Spring Bean, just straight up bounce a zombie. No ifs, no buts, just fucking bounce him if he's not untrickable. Goes into good old reliable. Budao. I'm sorry, he should probably go here, but no, I don't want any hero to be too low. Spyrus. Don't. Or actually do, it's just not worth it most of the time. It has solid damage, but its ability is not worth it. Squash. Just insta-kill whatever, doesn't matter, goes into niche. Squirrel Herald also goes into niche as it specifically counters walnuts. Starch Lord. If you're new, don't treat him as like top tier, but can be very reliable. Don't listen to what fucking to his fry em up debate. Stealthy Imp. If this thing hits its face, it's fucking 6 damage. Goes into good old reliable. But it needs to hit face, otherwise it's a 2-3 cost. Sail Magnolia is what if Crow Magnolia was good. It gives a health buff to everything around it. And it doesn't even need to be a plant evolution. Goes straight into reliable. Sting Bean. A really, really solid card. Stompathon. If you make a deck entirely around this guy, it's absolutely fucking bonkers what he can achieve with the damage. Basically, every time he roars, everything in your hand grows in strength. If you do your hands right, then this guy is pretty much making you unkillable. Stormfront. Every plant on the ground grows in damage and health by 1/1. Can you go wrong with this? The answer is never. Goes into reliable. Strawberry and 3 costs you 3/2. If you play berries next to it, it deals 1 damage. And if you place it on top of a berry, it gives you a berry blast. Goes into reliable. Stupid Cupid, 4/4. A plant can no longer deal damage this turn. If it's deadly, it insta-kills it too. It suddenly goes into niche. Sugary Treat. It's the opposite of Hard Treat. This thing increases your damage by 3 and gives you 1 health. This certainly does mean it's a bit worse than Sugary in Hard Treat though, because it doesn't make you harder to kill. Summoning. Summon a random zombie that costs 2 or less. You can get teleportation zombie out of this thing, enough said. Straight into reliable into strong tier. Sumo Wrestler. 2 costs, 2/3, move a zombie around move a plant around to your desire. Goes into reliable tier. Now this is cross-pollination, just gives you a fruit and a sunflower and it costs you less. A bit less, it's not worth it. Sunflower Seed, 3 costs, 2/2. If it dies, it transforms into a sunflower, goes into niche. Sunflower herself, the star of the show. Can I please select her? Yeah, goes into reliable. If it doesn't die, it's very nice. It's Sun Production. Sun Earshroom, 3 cost, 3 health, gives you 2 sun. If this thing actually survives, this is such a massive advantage. Goes straight into strong tier. Sunshroom, this is basically what if Sunshroom was weaker but then became stronger. At first it gives you 1 sun and then after that it becomes 2 sun. It goes next to Sunflower. Super Brains, after the recent buffs to his superpower, he's kinda nuts, I'll be honest. Strong tier. Now Super Stench. It's Super Stench. Everything becomes deadly. Goes straight into fucking dominant tier because there's basically just wipes the entire plant field. Supernova Garg. It's extinction event put on crack, and I love it. If it kills 1 plant of a type, it kills every plant of the same type, so basically Pineclones are fucking doomed with this guy. Goes into strong tier. Super Fat Bits. It's just 6 cost, 3/3, it carries and strength. I think they actually buffed it a bit, but that's about it. That goes into reliable. Server Zombie. 4 cost, 3/4 with Frenzy, it goes into water. Honestly, I've always found him reliable. Surprise Gargantuar. 5 cost, 5/6, it moves to a different lane after it appears. You will never go wrong with the power of the Surprise Garg. Goes straight into strong tier. Swabby. Swashbuckler, 2 cost, 2/2. If a pirate deals damage, including a swashbuckler, they get 1/1 buffs. Goes straight into reliable. You're not gonna get guaranteed value, but it's always gonna be reliable value. Sweet Pea. 2 cost, 2/3. Drag a zombie to it. It's fine, it's reliable. Sweet Potato. It's just a worst. It's just a fucking worst hot bait. Synchronized Swimmer. This can literally go anywhere on the tier list, but it's depending on how you use it, because it mimics stats of a different plant, of a different zombie. You know what that means? It can mimic some of the strongest stats in the game. And Synchronized Swimmer with AC Legend exists, so dominant tier. Because you can get the best stats if you want it, so Tactical Cuke. Just destroys the entire ground lane for both plants and zombies. It's kinda niche. It's Doomshroom level of niche. Then Kilosaurs. 4 costs, 2/6. If you draw a card, this thing deals 2 damage to any plant or plant hero. Goes into reliable tier. If you make it deadly, however, that's shit's bonkers. Team Mascot Imp. 3 costs, 1/4. Every turn it increases the sports zombies' strength and health by 1/1. Goes straight into reliable because if this thing doesn't die, it becomes really hard to do anything against a sports deck. Telepathy. It's basically Cauliflora for the zombies, if not better than for the plants. See where that with Cauliflora, this thing goes next to Chloroform. Teleportation Station. This is a huge gigantic stack. It's an environment that gives you teleports. Yeah, that sounds. This is like his worst superpower. That speaks volumes about how stupid strong his things are. Goes right next to his other superpower. Teleportation Zombie. Allows you to play zombies during tricks. Teleport straight into dominant tier. Tennis champion. It one cost 1-1, but on the turn it's played, it's a 4-1. And because it deals so much damage when it's first placed, it goes into reliable. Okay, next up, it's Terrify. Move a plant, conjure a monster. Since the monsters got buffed, this guy has gotten bad and better. No, he used to draw cards, which was better than conjuring, but it's still a reliable card. The Chickening. Deal 4 damage to every plant on the field. No, 2 damage to every plant on the field. This goes into reliable. It's just a bit pricey. The Great Zucchini. A 9 cost 7/7, transform every zombie into a 1/1 with no abilities. The problem with him is that he's super late played, so its ability might not even be able to save you, but he still goes into strong tier. The Podfather. He became a 3 cost 2/3. Does that help him? Nope, not at all. Red Planted. Plants here gain a massive damage and health buff. Does that help it? No. Plant environments are just not good. The Smash is one of my favorite zeros. Currently mainly playing him with the bonus track Buckethead. Goes into reliable tier. After the recent buffs to Beastly, he's really in good shape. Thank you, Cap. 4 cost gives you 2 superpowers from the zombie side. The problem with it is that it's very pricey, but you can get it also from a cheese counter because of course you can. So it goes into strong tier. 3-headed Chomper, 6 cost 6/6, kills every zombie here and next door if it survives. Straight into strong tier, there's no argument, it just fucking wipes the floor with you. But it can be stopped unlike somebody else. 3-0, 3 cost 3/2, everything you play will be turned into a 3 damage attacker no matter what. Niche, it's very niche, you need to build text around it to make it good. 3-peater. Just don't. Time to shine. This was quarterly bonus before quarterly bonus existed. It is so fucking stupid that this thing existed for so long and they somehow were able to top it with this thing. Good job, PopCap. Toadstool. 6 cost 4/4, kill a zombie that has 4 damage or less, and it gives you Sun. It goes into reliable because you might just happen to play it in a bad hand field sometimes. Tom Racer Cat, hella buff. He went from a 4/3/4 to a 4/5/3, and which gives you a gravestone upon hitting the face. He is bonkers if he hits face now. Goes straight into strong tier. Alright, who's next? The Torchwood. This guy only works with peace, so niche obviously. Total Eclipse. 2 cost environment that removes 1/1 stats from a plant that's placed on it. Just kind of a niche environment, honestly. Tough Beats. This is just tougher beats, but I guess better and worst. I'll just place it next to it. Toxic Waste Imp. There was a time when this guy was one of the best cards in the game. He is still really strong because imps, he makes every imp possible deadly. He's just not quite the dominant boy he used to be. Goes straight into strong tier. Transfiguration. The recent buff they gave to Transfiguration might be a bit overkill, honestly. But it makes it a pretty fun card that's just horrific to face if you're a zombie, if you don't have removal. Doesn't even go into strong, this thing goes straight into dominant tier. Transformation Station. This is basically a leap, but instead of a trick it's an environment. Basically a somewhat easier to use leap because they need to replace an environment for it, because pretty high into strong tier. Transmogrify. It's not worth it almost all the time. It's surprising how often you might get a cheese cutter out of this thing. Trapper Territory. Deal 1 damage to the plants here. For 1 cost, goes into niche. Trapper Zombie. This one gives you the Trapper Territory and it's a 3 cost, 3/3. Honestly, I'll just put him next to Trapper Territory because he's just as niche. Trash Can Zombie. When it's revealed, it doesn't take damage. It's kind of like the Screen Door Zombie. It goes into reliable tier though. Triceratops. Man, I'm happy to see how much you got nerfed. You're still dominant, sadly. Not dominant, you're still strong, just no longer top tier. And that's better for everyone. Trick or Treater. Sook, 3 cost, 2/4. If you play a trick, conjure a treat. You can never go wrong with him, he's reliable. Trickster. He has a case of having to build a deck a bit around him, but it's not mandatory because he can still get massive value if you only have a few tricks. The gimmick is that he'll cost less and less the more tricks you play, and as a result that means he can become a 1 cost 6/6, which is kinda nuts to think about. He goes straight into dominant tier because he can absolutely wreck your shit. He also does a bonus attack, by the way, when he gets placed, because that wasn't enough already. Tricorn. If you place it on top of a plant, it becomes a 4/6 that hits 3 lanes at once. Goes into reliable because it can be pretty fucking strong. Triplication. Do not. It's not good. Turkey Rider. After the leftovers, he became a bit better, but he's kind of niche in his own right. You might have just run more leftovers without him. Turquoise School. Oh boy, what a buff you got. He steals Sun, and for forecast he will steal Sun from the opponent, so they are constantly back a turn compared to you. But before when he stole Sun, he increased in damage. Now, not only does he increase in damage, he also increases in health, so he becomes extremely hard to kill. Straight to dominant tier with you, because you basically make the game near as playable for the plant. Twin Sunflower. 2 cost, 2 health, gives you 2 sun, goes right next to Sun in a Shroom because they basically do the same purpose. Typical Beanstalk is what if a magical Beanstalk was kinda shit. At least he still does decent damage, so he goes into reliable. And he also gives you a leafy card, so it might help you. Umbrella Leaf, it's kinda niche because it makes plants around it untrickable, but it itself is not untrickable, so it can easily die to a trick itself. Undying Pharaon, they gave it armor 1 to make it harder to kill. Did that help it? I'll say yeah. Making it harder to kill makes it significantly better. It goes straight into reliable tier. Its ability is that you cannot die while it's present. Unexpected Gifts. It's RNGesus for event cards. Honest, but it goes into reliable because its event cards are pretty good. Unlife of the Party. 1 cost 1/1 every time you play a zombie. This grows by 1/1. This thing can become it can easily become unstoppable. Well, if you place enough zombies and it doesn't die, it goes straight to strong tier. Unwanted Viking, or Instead as they call him. He recently got buffed to freeze plants in its own lane instead of plants in the water lane. So he goes into reliable now. Good job, Instead. Valkyrie. Every time a zombie dies, this thing grows in strength by 2 while it's in your hand. You get a deal. This thing can work with Brainstorm, who has bonus attacks. Brainstorm alone makes her strong, but the fact that it just can become a monster of a stat card just alone makes it dominant. Vanilla. Vegetation Mutation. Plants on environments or on heights gain +2/+2. This actually goes into pretty solid reliable tier because it can make things pretty good, although it's only specifically on environments and heights, so though plants in the water are ignored on this. Velocitratish Hatchling. 1 cost 1/2, it grows every time you draw a card. It goes into reliable. It's easy to kill, but that's fine because it's cheap. Velociraptish Hunters. or packmates as they're called now. You get 2 of them, team up, and they grow each time you throw a card. These guys are actually pretty fucking bonkers and hard to kill. Go straight into strong tier. They're not quite dominant though, because you can still answer them because they don't grow in health. Vengeful Cyborg, if you don't get him out of the Cyborg zombie, he is kinda shit. But at least they gave him more health than he has hunt. Venus Flytrap, they made this one a 3 cost 3-1. Still not worth it in my eyes. Venus Flytrap Planet. If you make it work, I hate you. I hate you so much. Vampires, I love vampires, but sadly the stocking vampire is not that good. You basically run it with ancient vampires. Vitamin Z, give a zombie 3/3 for the cost of 3, it's almost never worth it. Wall Knight. Running 2 of the strongest classes in the game, he become near unkillable often enough. He's just so fucking rage-inducing to face sometimes. But still goes just into strong tier, because despite those classes being the strongest in the game, they don't synergize well. Walnut Bowling. It's so fucking costly, it doesn't go past niche. Walnut. Good old reliable meat shield, what can I say? It's competing with Garlic for that role, but that's fine. Wallace Rider, just do not bother. Like, do not bother along with him. Wannabe Hero, if this was pre-patch, he was kinda bad, but post-patch is kinda niche. Water Balloon, same story as Wannabe Hero. But except he's went from kinda shit to kinda good, so reliable. Deal with you. Water Chestnut is walnut placeable on the water, but it's now too costly to be worth it. Weed Spray, every cards with 2 or less fucking die. It's really good. Like, if you face a guy that has a bunch of small minions, just this thing wipes him off everything off the field, straight into strong tier. Weed Whack, remove 2/2 from a zombie. It's good old reliable removal. You can never go wrong with Weed Whack. Weenie Beanie, yes. Whack a zombie. 3 cost, kill a zombie with 3 or less. Kinda niche because 3 is a pretty not good number considering what some high cost zombies do. Wavevine, this became a 5/6. It's significantly better now that it's harder to kill though, so that's good for it. World Meal. It's the same deal as with the Dolphin Tornado. Wildberry, they gave it the anti-hero 2, now if it hits face 6 damage the face for 2 cost. What the hell is this? This thing has lost me. Every time I faced it, I lost games constantly to it. It's so stupid of being a 2 cost 6 damage to face. Go straight to dominant tier, holy shit. Wingnut, 4 cost 3/7, the zombies cannot do bonus attacks. In a meta where quarterly bonus is a thing, then yeah, this thing is fucking bonkers. Even outside of that, the fact that it denies bonus attacks is really good. It's why I run bonus trap Bucket Boy. But yeah, plants benefit more from no bonus attacks right now because quarterly bonus exists. Winter Melon, they recently buffed it so that it freezes as a random zombie, supposedly when it's planted. This actually gives it very, very bonkers value. Because after that, if it's the zombie in front of it, then it can just chain freeze constantly while dealing fuck ton of damage. Go straight into strong tier. The only downside is that if you have a Yeti, Cryo Yeti on the board, Cryo Yeti also buffs himself from frozen zombies, so, you know. But there's a counter to that thing called Winter Squash. Winter Squash, he insta-kills any zombie or gravestone that is frozen. It's absolutely shocking this card exists in this game. It made freeze deck so much more infuriating. Go straight into strong tier next to Winter Melon. Witch Hazel, 4 cost with 3 health, transforms a random zombie into a potion. I just find this strange she is a Smarty plant instead of a Kabloom plant. Kinda goes into niche. Yeah, she can stay into niche. Wizard Gargantuar. So 6 cost 5/6 gives bullseye to Gargs. I believe it still has that stat, but now it leaps as a random zombie if it's not a Garg. It went from somewhat niche to actually reliable because of that. Wormhole Gatekeeper. It loves Bullseye, but in exchange it conjures cards, and man does it do a good job of making those cards pretty nice. They cost one less too. I believe. She goes straight into reliable tier because she's just fun. She's really fun. Yeti Launchbox is what if after the buff to leftovers, it's kinda niche, but it has the benefit of giving more damage to pets than other cards. Sabricot, you went from a 3-4-2 to a 3-4-1 for some fucking reason. Why the hell did they do that? Nerf is past me. Z-Mech. He has access to binary flamenco, by the way. He also has some of the better superpowers, so he goes straight into strong tier. Zombats. They are 3 cost 2-2 and will draw a card when they deal damage. Yeah, they're pretty fucking solid for what they do. Zombie's best friend. Place it next to a zombie, it will conjure you on one more zombie that costs 1 less. You can never go wrong as it gives you free minions. Zombie chicken, 1 cost 2-2, it will run away if a plant is placed in the same lane as it. Except unlike the rooster, it doesn't deal damage either as well. Zombie coach. 4 cost, 3-3, every sports zombie is unable to take damage for that turn. He's only usable with sports zombies as a result, so he goes into niche. Zombie high diver. Almost never worth it. Zombie king. He doesn't even need a deck built around him. As long as he exists, he's gonna make Knights of the Living Dead, which, made from him, are actually fucking solid, so he goes straight into strong tier. Good job, Zombie King. Zombie Middle Manager. 1 cost once you conjures you a professional zombie, and if a professional zombie takes damage outside of him, he goes in strength by 1. This guy is pretty overstated for a 1 cost, I'll be honest. Goes straight into strong tier. Zombie Yeti, 3 cost 3-3, it gives you a lunchbox, and then after that it bounces off the field if it survives. It can basically replay him infinitely as long as he doesn't die. He's kinda niche, but he's a free source of infinite lunchboxes if he doesn't die, so that's nice. Why did they buff Sunblob is past me. He was already one of the better zombies in the game, but now he just kind of, plays him straight into dominant. He was dominant before, he's dominant now. Zombie Teacher. 1 cost 2-1, your tricks cost 1 less. This speech can make your plant hero's life a living hell. Go straight into dominant tier. In Zombot's Raft, 2 cost, deal damage equivalent to the amount of zombies on the field. It's kinda niche. It was niche before, it's niche now, but you can get some high damage out of it at least. It also hits face. Zombot 9000, this used to be all the way down here before it got made into a gravestone. Now it's actually pretty solid. Zombot Cytostatic Gondola, 6 cost 5-6. If it hits the plant hero's face, it gives you more zombies. It can give you any zombie, including Zombot. It goes straight into strong tier. The Zombot Battlecruiser wants to 6 cost 6-6. Every zombie on the field becomes unable to take damage. Also really strong. Zombot Dynatronic Megasaur. They buffed this guy to hell. It's from 7 cost 6-7 to 7 cost 8-8. Every time you draw a card, this thing conjures prehistoric cards, which are some of the best in the game. This guy goes straight into dominant tier. It's no question asks. The Zombot Drone Engineer. Any science card that deals damage grows in damage by 1 as long as he's alive on the field. Goes into the reliable tier. Zombot Plank Walker. 8 cost 6-6 with strike through. It gives you 2 zombies. On placement, it goes straight into dominant tier. Zombot Sharkotronic Sub. 6 cost 5-5. Every time a zombie hits a plant, it insta kills that plant. Goes straight into strong tier. It also grows in damage each time. It's also amphibious because it's a shark. Zombot Stomp. Here we saw where our streak of which it ends. 6 cost. It bounces plants into their hand. It's kind of niche. And Zookeeper. You'd think he'll have been paid better, but no, he's still very much not worth using. Sorry, Zookeeper.